Why do I live here?
Refreshing.
No, it's miserable. I can't ever warm up. Like, you can't put enough layers on. Ugh.
I think you guys are talking about the drainage thing.
Yeah. I'm concerned the direction.
Okay, and I need to be refreshed on why, I mean, what brought this up? Why did it brought to our attention that
I
needed to
can't
be
answer.
rectified? I mean, I,
That question, so I was just told to draft
I
ten
mean, I don't-
cents and here's the project, so
yeah,
that's
so
what
I
I
don't
did.
know, I don't know if it backed up and
Water
flooded.
bottom went over the entranceway to the assisted living.
Okay, I mean, I couldn't remember. I mean,
I really don't wanna flood the assisted living.
okay, and.
A water bottle went over the.
Well, wasn't flowing fast enough, so it starts flooding. And if it did that, it had to flow people's yards, their
5-inch
basements.
rain, was it, whatever, 5,
Oh,
7.
it started to get close in assisted
Oh,
living.
yeah, it's getting close to assisted living, that baby floods.
Oh,
I could think, I just couldn't remember,
That's what.
I knew there had to be some issue, we wouldn't have done that for, just to do something, so. I mean, and Denny lives there, so I don't know if Denny ever got water in his basement.
Yeah, I think he's been, has he been accusing himself of both sides?
Yeah. Yeah, cause he's,
I think he'd be far enough, well, there he is, far enough away that he
I'll
would.
ask him.
I think we
Well,
should
hey,
go out,
didn't-
I think we should sit outside and we should get to drink beer while we have the meeting.
I'm on my way.
I have 2 votes for that right now.
outside?
You never has to ask me twice. Bad thing is, the bar closed on Mondays
Oh, where was that plan?
in the summer. Yeah,
That's
we go to the country club. So we used to do at our fair board meetings, we always had a meeting after the meeting at
There you go.
either Bill's or the Mexican restaurant, that's when things really got done.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we weren't under quite as
Hello.
rigid restrictions there.
Yeah, it was just easy going. Hey, Curtis. Good.
I got my second shot.
Cool. Trying.
You did
Doing our
what?
best.
My wife.
Got him up to taking a shower every other month, you know, so it's not too bad.
24 hours.
That's a tear, she made it through and all of a sudden.
Oh, good, I was tired, so.
It's been so nice the last few days. I don't have to mow the yard because I did it a while back and it's not growing very fast.
No, it's not. That's not
I
good.
gotta go to bed, you know, to bed at like 7:30.
We're not talking anymore.
No, they aren't.
She had one whole
Crazy.
body aches at 8, and she said she took naps, and she took a nap, late Saturday, one Friday, one, and I was like, 5:30. Oh my God, time is like 4:30. Oh my God, I laid down for a nap.
4 hours.
Yeah. I'll take a shower, maybe I'll feel better, but like 15 minutes, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
enjoy it.
It was not, I'm glad it's over. You know, and I kinda knew it going in my head. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's on Friday.
Wanted everybody's lawn.
yeah, the whole thing.
Well, it rained here, it didn't rain anywhere else.
Seriously, did not get it.
I'm just kidding. Crap my mind, let's do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Did you match in, Todd?
Huh?
Did you match in?
Yes, I did.
Shoot.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's funny. Yep. That's exactly
I
what.
shot all over the place.
He told me he was.
Keep asking questions, Curtis. It's going really well.
Very short.
I can feel the love. Hi, we're waiting on you.
We are.
I'm just kidding. Not really.
According to my clock.
I get it.
like I'm forgetting something.
Better?
Never better.
Oh, never better.
And you?
Weekend full of watching soccer.
It's a long story.
You got out of it, didn't you?
I did actually. Not the way
Not
I
in a good
wanted
way.
to. Wife ended up having a kidney stone at 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
Live streaming.
You're on live stream?
Sorry.
I'm in Zoom
We're not doing
meeting.
Zoom anymore? Okay.
Yeah, it was.
I just knew the computer wasn't sitting right.
Yeah.
And we were camping.
Oh, no.
We're trying something new.
Load her up, takes 3 o'clock in the morning from Dice. So,
Nice.
it was, yeah, it was,
You getting along all right now?
she's doing okay. She hasn't passed me yet. She has but, she thinks it's at least sitting.
Yeah.
Instead of
You socially distance our chairs.
exactly direct shots.
In the canal or
I can throw out a few technical
Yeah,
terms, but
yeah.
I'd rather not. But it's, as of right now, it's better.
And they can't do it.
No. Let it out. Please work fast.
Does it break down or not?
It won't, not unless they break it down, which breaks some millimeters, so they don't have any reason to, like laser. I guess you can laser it.
Really?
Yeah. Which one is that by accident?
He could spend that.
Oh, you think it's that? I thought this was 8A.
Break it up, yeah.
You're on there twice.
Oh, that's.
And if it works,
You're old.
then you got, you get infected.
I wish we could
Silas is old.
bust it up.
I mean, he's
so old.
He's so old. Old news.
So I was really,
I'd pay money. Bust that thing off, do it now.
it's like jackhammers
I
are.
mean, you're gonna get regardless, I'll just get in there and zap.
Yeah.
Interesting week, not full of soccer.
Oh, that's too bad.
She was able to go on Sunday. She went on Sunday, but I came back here with a hard cartridge deal, so I didn't go to soccer. Some people go golfing right
What?
They driven all day.
there.
They got there when they got off done at 5.
Some people think they gotta go golfing. You get a golf tournament?
No, they did. They had that.
Oh, I was gonna say, then you went to him after that.
No. So yeah, they set up
No, no.
McDougal
Okay.
charity tournament here. Morgan's tournament. I didn't get done till 5.
All the rules and stuff going on.
Yeah, I
Go through it.
Not too bad.
Decorate the road as usual.
That's good.
No, it was pretty good. You always have your feet. It was good. Good turnout. Yeah. It was.
You have to adjust that
You
close.
said all these comments.
Absolutely. If you're on time, you're late. If you're 15 minutes ahead, you're on time.
Does it make you feel better because you come in that door?
Yes.
First thing you look at?
Yes.
Oh, I'm really.
I get up and I get back up 10 minutes. So if it's 10 minutes late for work, I'm still okay. I don't know how he does that.
We'll call this meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So everybody put their mics on and push the button down.
Could the clerk please call a roll of the council?
Denny Bell,
Here.
Curtis Shares.
Here.
David Bishop,
Here.
Craig Ray,
Here.
Todd Rolfson.
Here.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Can you get an explain the $520,000 check? Fully,
Who's that to?
UMB,
Huh?
UMB?
Oh, that's our bond payments. We have 4 bonds.
Oh,
So-
so the years, they're not for the years that are on here for a description or the year of the bond was taken out.
When we took
right?
the bond
Taken-
out,
okay.
like 2010, 2011, 2013, 2017. Yeah, that was the year we took the bond out. Yes.
Any other discussion? We'll do a roll call vote.
Bell,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Rolfson.
Is there anyone here that would like to address the city council? We'll move on to old business. First up, we have an Eagle Scout project. Want to speak on that? Someone?
Is ours underneath old business A or new business A?
It's the Eagle Scout, but that's just action for tonight. They're here for the slab.
Okay. So this was what Silas is doing.
Yeah.
He was at the last council meeting.
Yeah, and explained it.
We just had to get a letter from Heartland Technology saying
we
that
do.
they were gonna accept responsibility for it.
Okay, that was received.
Yes, we do have it. I just didn't know if anybody else wanted to speak on that. So we did receive what we asked for at the last council meeting. The council wants to go ahead and approve that as a
So moved.
project.
Second.
Any discussion? A roll call vote?
Rolfson.
Yep.
Bell,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Shares.
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes.
That motion passes. Then we have permanent storm sewer easement agreements for the drainage ditch. So right now we have 3 outstanding.
I think we have 7.
2 of them have not responded to any phone calls or letters. The third one I've talked to a couple times, but they are asking for compensation for their easement. So I guess I'm throwing that back to the city council. Where does this project stand if the property owners aren't going to cooperate?
And we did amend the easement agreement to
Good.
try and.
Right, we amended it to indicate that we would maintain the concrete, so that there wasn't a concern about the individual owners having to maintain the concrete. Which was the intent all
Right.
along. I mean, we never, I just.
I think that was just kind of generic
It was, right,
easement language.
correct, that's what it was, and someone had asked for that addition, and we added that addition in there. But yeah, you're not getting a response from 2, and the third that wants compensation, that's within his rights to ask for it. My concern, I think I expressed in the email, is that once you compensate, well, 1, we need to figure out how to compensate 1, and then 2, you're going to have to compensate the other 9.
Well, just to give it a little historical analysis here real quick. Jessup Retirement Living owns the assisted living facility located out in that direction. That waterway drains how much of the town, Mike? Third?
Less than a quarter.
Quarter?
Less than.
Okay. During one of our rain events, or there was a lot of rain, water backed up far enough that it just about came over the driveway of the assisted living, which got the board of directors of the assisted living kind of concerned a little bit. because if it backs up any further and it floods the assisted living, they got no place to go. 'Cause it's just a slab, that's all it is. So that's kind of, they're kind of the instigators of this whole thing, I guess, for lack of better words, is they talked to their engineer said, get the water out of there as fast as you possibly can, so I walked it during another rain event and chatted with one of the property owners, and water is just crazy back in there when it's fast and furious and it's going this way and that way, and so that's how we came up to where we're at right now. We just don't want the assisted living to flood. Because it's just on cement.
We had any basement flooding on those same events, like down through those, that anybody know?
They're all way high.
They're all way high, okay.
I think
It's gotten really
Dykes
close.
has probably been close to going into his.
Who?
Rick Dykes, right on
Yeah.
the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, well, then, wife's name's Nancy, I lost his, Bob Venom's old place.
Oh, yeah.
It's been to their back door more than once, but I don't know it's ever gone in.
I'm close to it.
You're on the other side.
I'm on the
Ninth
east
Street.
side of Ninth.
Right, right.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah, the first time I walked it, shortly after the assisted living was built, I mean, I swear, part of that, the waterway heck had started coming back to the north again, and then it went south. Just, the whole idea was to get the water out of there, help drain 25% or less of the community, but the instigators, if you wanna call it that, is gonna be the assisted living board of directors.
Other than the assisted living, we've had the 4 other people that I talked to were very supportive of the project. They like what we're doing, they wanna see it happen. One of them that actually signed the agreement has then kind of flipped and just to not see us do it. Now we've got I think the one that's asking for compensation isn't necessarily opposed to it, he just thinks that he should be compensated for the easement. And then the 2 that we're not getting a response from, I don't think that they were at any of the public meetings either. So I don't know where they stand.
And the method of contacting the 2 that aren't responding, we've got phone calls into them and letters, and it's just crickets.
Coley sent them a letter and then called them. And I've tried calling them 3 times since Coley's called them.
They're not
Left voice
returning your phone
messages.
calls at all.
I'm pretty sure we had cell phone numbers on them, not just.
One's a home phone, the other one's a cell phone.
Was it? Okay.
And I think he even tried texting him too and didn't get a response.
Okay, and we cannot proceed without everybody in agreement, correct? So is this, table this then, or what's our options for moving forward, or?
They're right in the middle of it, so
Right.
the intent of, we wanna cut the waterway down about a foot, most of the way through there, so that it gets more capacity, and the goal was to keep the 100-year flood within the waterway. So that's why they wanted to cut it down. If these people aren't gonna allow us to come through our property, we can't do what we originally intended to do. We could possibly do something up on the north end again, but it's not gonna be at the elevation that we originally planned. It's not, so it's gonna lose some capacity, quite a bit of capacity there. Not to say that we couldn't improve it, but we'd have to redesign. We'd have to redesign it.
So originally there was like 3 options, right? The culvert, the cement one was the one that would be the best, right?
That was actually the one that the property owners preferred when we.
Oh, was it? Okay, I
When
didn't
we
know
had
if
the
they would
meeting.
prefer a tile or something, then it was not, they don't have concrete running through the yard.
One of the concerns with the tile was that there was
Maintenance.
a lot of rock too,
Oh, was it?
and it might be kind of difficult to dig that in. 'Cause Rex Reinhardt brought that up, that a lot of that waterway right now is sitting right on top of the bedrock. But I think the property owners kind of generally preferred the concrete trough over the pipe too.
That was one of the discussions that I had at ASS, stood in the rain with one of the property owners. I mean, he's the one who brought it up. And I was just thinking tile or whatever, but he's the one who brought that up, that way, cause that way they can take their lawnmowers and still, cause they own, their property goes on the other side of the waterways.
Yeah.
Some of them, so that way they can take their lawnmowers and still, even though it's concrete, they can still pass it, get past it really easy and mow the other side. So I didn't follow the whole thing. There's a 60-day window in here. What is that about? I read
That's
it.
your quote on the price, right? You've got, so your bid came in at X dollars, but it's only solid for 60 days. So if you don't award it within 60 days, they're not committed to that bid price anymore.
So we have to award it within 60 days, or is it 60 days after?
From the bid opening, I believe.
Right?
Okay, so we opened the bids. What's our
2.5
window
weeks
here?
ago.
We got a
Weeks
letter
ago.
from Farragram on May 14th. So is that our date? The clock starts May 14th?
Oh, yeah, we had an extra week in there.
So you think it's July 14th might be a good question for Lucas.
Well, that's fine. I'm just gonna make a motion to table it for now. I mean, that's. Continue to try to reach out.
I was just gonna say, can I make a suggestion that somebody actually go knock on somebody's door?
I can probably go,
I'll do one.
I can probably do one.
I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that would solve the situation, but it would be, it might, direct personal contact might be helpful.
I can do that too. Just kidding, not gonna make that.
May 13th was a bid opening.
And it's certainly not gonna get cheaper if you have to rebid it.
Well, that's
That we
another
know.
thing that we need to point out. I memean, the money's right. Rarely does that happen. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We've got the money. It's in the budget. The stars are lined up. At the end of the day, I'll be happy to go visit with 2 or 3 people too. If you need me to. So maybe after the meeting we can divvy them up and.
Yeah, I would, a little more information on like what exactly is gonna take place through there, so I can at least present something.
Yeah, I just can't see compensating the property owners when the intent of this project is to make their
Help their
properties
backyard.
better. And that's, I think, why most people are signing without any problems.
What's the downfall of the property owner? How would they be against it?
Well, somebody's worried about the frogs that live in the waterway. That lose habitat. I don't know if they don't.
Somebody was worried about kids falling into the concrete, right? There was a concern for a trip in the concrete.
I hadn't heard that, but it
I thought I read
could,
that in one of them.
it could be, yeah, it's
That was,
potentially get slippery.
So a little bit of a hazard for
I don't know.
children.
There's a couple of trees that are coming out along the way. But I haven't really heard a lot of pushback on the trees specifically. Did you want to make a motion to
I made a
table it?
motion to
Tom?
table it for now.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. Is that C?
that was B.
B. So now you have to table C as well.
So then I'd ask for a motion to table awarding the contract.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. Motion passes. Now we have the concrete slab at the Boy Scout shelter.
Yeah, I need all the support I can get. First, I want to say thank you for letting us speak tonight here. My name's Kurt Miller. I'm an adult leader here with Jessup Boy Scout Troop 95 in town, along with Krista Leach. The Scouts are looking at adding a cement pad on the east side of the Scout building, with the size of it being, the building is 16 feet deep, and then we would come east 20 feet. Along with a smaller pad of 6 by 10 on the north side here. There's like a driveway that runs down to it now. The pad would increase the safety factor for the Scouts, because now out there we're using 2x4s and other devices to level outdoor cooking equipment, which we use during Farmers Days. And we did in the spring here, April 30th, our cookout, and we do a homecoming burger night. So we're taking, hate to say it, hot fryers, and we're putting 2x4s under the legs. Sometimes we've kicked rocks under them and stuff like that to keep it semi-level. So then we would also like to add a small pad on the west side of the building, approximately 2 foot deep by 8 foot, to hold the 100-pound cylinders we use to power the fryers, and which we would be able then to secure them to the building and put a padlock on them, so no vandals or anything like that, or kids going around messing around. The Scouts, we would look to have local cement contractors help in planning and forming of the pads. This project might, and I'm going to say might, be an Eagle Scout project in the future. The project, we would like to get it done sometime in August with weather permitting, and the Scouts would be willing to pay $500 of the cost of the cement. So that is what I'm here for and proposing.
We were hoping to originally have this done in time of Farmers Days, but we understand that that's, as far as visual, that's not going to be great, because we could still have dirt exposed, grass won't be in, so we understand that. But going forward, definitely it is a safety concern. It's been a safety concern for a few years, and the more food we serve, the more of a concern it gets, because we keep adding equipment out there. So
thank you.
Do you know about how much the concrete would cost? Have you?
I think concrete's sitting right about $135 a yard right now. I don't know if the city gets a break or not on it, so I'm gonna I don't know how many yards exactly. I don't know how to figure that. I know Mike and I have spoke a few times about it.
Rough estimate is between 1,600 and 1,500 to do this, for the concrete rebar cost. That doesn't, again, just concrete, just rebar.
1,600. Started with a high number. I don't know if they just wanted to give me the number first to take the sting out.
do you guys have any questions for us?
So you're looking for $1,200 from us, probably?
Yes, yeah. I think there's enough cement contractors we can, use some assistance here in forming it up and stuff of that, and getting the project done on time and looking good. And I hate to say it, increase the safety factor down there, because it's true, we're putting 2x4s under fryers and stuff like that, trying to keep things level. We got kind of a game plan for this coming Farmers Days in about a month to help with the safety factor to get by.
That come out of parks or something, Cooley?
Money in there to pay for this?
In next year's budget. It won't be in this year's budget. So, we'll have a whole new budget starting July 1st. Out of the parks budget.
Yes,
So,
funding,
yeah.
I can make that work.
Do you have any other concerns with it, Mike?
I honestly don't. I love everything about the safety factors of this. I've seen what they're doing. I think this would be a good thing. I did get one verbal complaint about it. Somebody complaining that we're eating up more grass area and taking that away from the parks, but the side that they're doing it on is mostly gravel anyway, and we're losing maybe a 5 piece of grass. So
Yes.
I'm like, I don't see, I guess, a valid complaint with that. I think this is all a good idea.
So move.
Second.
How much?
They don't cover. They pay the first 500, we pay the rest. Between $1,000 and $1,100.
There you go.
1,100 to 1,000.
Yeah.
So do we say up to 1,100?
Yeah, no, with.
And you seconded?
I did.
Dave?
Dave did.
Okay. Any other discussion? That'd be a roll call vote.
Bishop,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yep.
Bell.
Yes.
That motion passes. Thank you. Then for the 4th of July is on a Sunday this year. Our personnel policy says if a holiday falls on a Sunday, it's observed on a Monday. But that's also the week of Farmers Day, so the Public Works Department in particular had some concerns that they're very busy setting up that day. And I think that they're all agreeable to taking Friday off and coming in working Monday, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Everyone is on board with that.
So we kind of wanted to leave it up just as an option for the employees, because that's also a council meeting date on the 5th. So Coley doesn't want to take the day off, and that's coming for council meeting. So we wanted to give the employees the option this one time to either take it on Friday or Monday.
You want a motion on that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? A roll call vote?
Bell,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yep.
Wright,
Yes.
Shares.
That motion passes. And we have an opening on the library board from a resignation. So I would recommend that the council appoints Brianna Decker to the library board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. That motion passes. Then we have a reappointment on the planning and zoning. Merritt Jones's term is up, and he said that he'd be willing to run again, so I would recommend to reappoint Merritt Jones to the planning and zoning.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. That motion passes. Then for the Ragbri event coming into town, I got a quote for porta potties and hand wash stations. It was $2,130. So I would like to ask the council's permission to reserve those for that day. And this would be paid for out of our permit fees from the vendors.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Rolfson,
Yep.
Bell,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes.
That motion passes. And the chief has an update on the police vehicle purchase.
So obviously not what I wanted to be addressing again, since we already had this pretty much figured out, or so we thought. The order that we had in for our Dodge Durango patrol vehicle and everything else that followed with that, the upfitting, the trade-in, all that good stuff, went away when they canceled that order. So they're not making any more 2021 Durangos this year due to the microchip shortage. So they just canceled the order, and that was pretty much it. They gave us a couple options, Rydell did, as far as either trying to find another vehicle, which didn't happen, or waiting on another vehicle for next year, which would be a 2022 Durango, but the price was going to go up. They didn't say how much. They don't know how much. They don't even know when they're going to be available. We had an original quote and for upfitting for the Chevy Tahoe. Matter of fact, they even put our name on one at Carl Chevrolet. The reason we decided to go with the Durango because of the considerable cost difference, which obviously was too good to be true anyway. And so I went back to the original plan with the Tahoe with Carl Chevrolet. They still had one available for us because, like I said, they ordered quite a few of them and got quite a few of them in prior to this microchip shortage. So apparently they were thinking ahead. But long story short is they still had one available. All of our original quotes, estimates, well, not estimates, quotes, were all still valid. And that's why we're back here today is to go that direction with the Tahoe instead of a Durango, obviously. So. Total of 43,950.36.
What was the total on the other one?
It was about 12,000.
32.
So it's probably close to 32. Yeah. They gave us a little bit more for the trade. The upfitting cost with Raycom was a little bit cheaper, and the price of the vehicle was cheaper. So kind of all the way around there. The plus side is, I guess, we saved up the money and we planned for this sort of cost, the $43,000 cost, as opposed to the cost of the Durango or whatever that total cost was. So luckily we were prepared for the purchase of a Tahoe at a later date. So we're obviously this will be into the next fiscal year, so post June 30th. So the money will be there.
But you can get it in like July?
We get it in July. Yep. Yeah, it's on the lot.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Rolfson?
Yep.
Bell?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Shares?
Yes.
Bishop?
Yes.
Motion passes. And we have a resolution setting salaries. A lot of these are union contract. Non-union was 3%.
Yep.
Make a motion to accept this resolution for the salaries.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Be a roll call vote then?
Bell?
All abstain?
Wright?
Yes.
Bishop?
Yes.
Shares?
Yes.
Rolfson?
And Denny, you're abstaining because your son
My
is on.
son's one of them. Yep.
Okay, thank you. That motion passes. Then we have West Echo Edition Development Agreement. I think it came up for discussion at our last council meeting that Brent Dahlstrom's asked for an extension on development agreement for West Echo out there by Emerald Acres. I've talked to him. He's proposing May 31st of 2022 as an extension for the public improvements. He expects them to be all pretty much completed this fall, but just that's a little weather dependent and also on materials. I know like they gotta do the lift station. Sometimes those have quite a long lead time, so he wanted to be safe, not have to come back to say May 31st of 2022. And then October 1st of 2024, he would have to certify for his tax increment, or ask the city to certify for that. And then some other things that I would recommend that we write in there is that we get a title opinion, that there's no outstanding liens on the property, that they provide performance bonds either through West Echo or their subcontractors for all the improvements out there. And then we've had discussion with him about cleaning and inspecting any of the infrastructure that's out there that wasn't properly sealed up before the last contractor pulled out. So those would be the things that I would recommend that we put in this amendment to the development agreement. Tonight really just asking for council approval to reach back out to Ehlers and Cooney that wrote it originally and have them do these, prepare an amendment.
So he wants to pass for a year. 2 years.
2 years, 2.5 years.
Favor that at all?
1 year from now.
Put something in here, whether something has to happen 3 months from now and something has to happen 6 months from now, and otherwise it's just a free pass. Whatever time frame you wanna put on it right now, I really don't care, but let's put something in there that he's gonna have the lift station in by a certain date. So at least we know that he's still thinking about us.
Why is that so important to us? I think we need to be focusing when the whole thing's done instead of putting in a bunch of dates, and if he doesn't meet one of them and throws it off, it just needs to be done when you get houses out there. I'm afraid if we put too many details in there that he's gonna get hung up on something, one part of it's not gonna get done, then we're back here.
Yeah, but it keeps his feet to the fire. I mean, you're just giving him a year again. It's gonna look like that a year from now if we don't. My opinion.
I mean, we could do it for this fall too. They're not gonna build much over the winter time.
I understand
So-
that, but what are they gonna do now between now and winter time? What are they gonna do? Absolutely nothing. My opinion.
Well, we can.
History has shown that.
Don't forget about the performance bonds.
What's that gonna do?
You don't have performance bonds right now.
Well, I understand that. So what's that gonna do?
You
when
can
that-
call on performance bonds when they're not done. The surety starts breathing down his neck going, we don't wanna pay this money because you didn't get your stuff done. So the performance bond is a little bit more of an effective tool to get somebody to comply. Right now, he doesn't have anything like that.
So you don't think we should put something out there 6 months from now just so that he's interested or shows an interest?
Oh, what you decide to do in terms of, it's a completely political decision on what you want your amendment to your development agreement to say. I'm just reminding you that because you don't have a performance bond right now, the amendment gives you the opportunity to get the performance bond, which is a little bit more of an effective leverage than what you have right now.
Explain how that leverage works.
When he doesn't comply with the terms of the performance bond,
So
you
by May
can
21st of
you call the
2022.
corporate surety and say, we're suing him on this because he hasn't complied with the performance bond, so I guess you're gonna write us a check now for $200,000, whatever the performance bond number is.
So
And-
what is that performance?
And that gets the surety real antsy, right, because
Right.
that's the problem. So that's,
So what's the dollar amount?
whatever it was for the cost of the minimum improvements or the public improvements. So let's say the public improvements have a total cost of, I don't know, $250,000. I'm picking a number out of the thin blue air, but typically
How do we
the,
know what that dollar amount is?
say that again?
How do we know what that dollar amount is?
It's in the development.
It's in the development.
It's in the development agreement.
700,000, I want to. I could be off, but
If he gets a bond for that amount of money, then you got my interest.
I think it was more than that. Even. I'm not sure, but I
Hold
think it was
on,
more than
I can
that.
see if I can find it. Hold on.
But if you wanna have it done, we could say December 31st, that would be I think a 3-year extension.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you on that aspect of it, Chris. We're giving him a hall pass, in my mind. Yeah, you got a year. And a year from now, we'll be right here again. History repeats itself.
It falls
So
on
I
our
would like
board,
to have some teeth. If this performance bond is the teeth, then that's great. but it's gotta be worth our time and worth our effort.
Well, he
I
doesn't,
like the title opinion aspect of it, that, I'd be curious as all get out to see that.
but if he doesn't do this by our, whatever date we pick, the development agreement goes away, he doesn't get a TIF rebate.
Right, but that can be assigned to somebody else that might come in and buy it.
We would have to probably renegotiate
Yeah,
that. with
yeah, I
him.
understand that, but
Yes.
we could assign that to
Yeah.
somebody else and yada, yada, yada if we had to.
Yeah.
If we wanted to.
If you wanna
If
keep
he-
this moving forward, I would maybe suggest December 31st of 2021.
Something, you know.
I just don't wanna put too many medium deadlines in there, and
I want something, cause
I was originally thinking December 31st. When I talked to Brent about it, he wanted to propose May 31st of 2022. So,
I tell you right there.
I mean, no. The dollar amount is not filled in on this one.
Not on the performance bond, it's not, but it,
Correct.
isn't it on the, up front? Early on in the,
What the amount of the performance bond had to be in
No.
the agreement, you think?
no,
1852.
I was,
2 years. I think I remember it. 2 years.
like the total infrastructure's like 4 million.
4 million, yep.
Let's see what the extent of the performance bond
Yeah, he can certify up to 4 million for TIF. Based on the infrastructure costs.
That can't be, the infrastructure for the public improvements can't be
That's all that we're agreeing to rebate him for. It's in the urban renewal plan. It says, these incentives are not expected to exceed the lesser of the developer's certified improved cost of public improvements, or $4 million.
Oh, it says public improvements or 4? Okay.
Yeah, so if it goes over 4 million, he gets 4 million. So isn't that what your bond is, amount is?
I'm looking to see if the agreement says what the percentage has to be.
I thought I recalled on the other one that them two numbers were the same.
I'm not disagreeing with you, I just don't understand.
So we don't have a performance bond on there right now. What would it take to do that?
Correct, we don't have one right now.
Resolution or,
No,
They
it's
just have to provide it.
Yeah,
Oh,
the developer just provides that.
okay,
So that's something that's, is required by the developer to get to us,
okay.
so.
that just says if they don't complete it by this date, then we can sue them for whatever we gave them.
Right, the surety is basically providing an insurance policy to the developer that the work will get done. Similar to like a maintenance bond, a surety also provides maintenance bonds so that if, after the project's complete, something breaks, the maintenance bond, you can call on the maintenance bond to fix or repair if there was something unnatural.
So like, when we do a public improvement project, we get a performance bond guaranteeing that they're gonna honor their bid and do the project. So this would be the same thing, just on the private side.
It's not a short agreement, right?
So yes, that should have been gotten
There we go.
The first time.
3 years ago. I don't know who the clerk was then, but they didn't know what they're doing. Don't say that too loud. Previous clerk.
Just don't dig any deeper.
Faithful performance of this agreement for any aggregate or the anticipated full value of the completed public improvements. So, yeah.
Be
if the
4 million.
If the public, yep, be 4 million then,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
not a cheap performance. Why he hasn't gotten it.
Probably.
Sorry, stating the obvious.
What are options?
Options are negotiate amendments to the development agreement, as what you've been discussing. Give the mayor authority to begin those negotiations, and Ehlers and Cooney starts negotiating the amendments to the development agreement. Or calling them in default now. Calling them in default now costs you money and don't have your project done. So, I completely understand.
Well, I don't have any experience in setting a performance bond, so I guess I would defer to somebody who's got that experience as far as what that dollar amount should be, but it should be enough to compensate or make this council and the city feel happy.
Correct.
Should be enough not to
Right.
break his
Right.
back, for lack of better
Yeah.
words, but there's gotta be a number in there. I wouldn't have a clue what that would be.
Yeah. And
I'd say
Ehlers-
4 million, but.
It's already part of the development agreement, what that number should be.
Right, the development agreement currently says it's supposed to
Which
be
you
at least,
signed.
at least 4 million bucks.
So why didn't we get it? Previous
It was
administration?
overlooked.
Yeah,
It was overlooked, yes.
it was overlooked. Yes.
I mean, he's required to get it. You could sue him
Yeah,
under that
he's
part
he
too,
was
right? I mean,
yeah.
it's not, he's
Okay,
under.
then there's your parameter. That's where we start.
Yeah, right. That should be an easy thing for us to get. In my opinion. He's already signed the development agreement.
That says he has
The
to get it.
Performance
Okay.
bond is
All right.
part of.
There we go. Go for
So
it.
we
I
just have
think
to
it's just
address
that
it with him.
We never asked, so they didn't provide it.
There's
I
that
don't
number.
think
Right.
it's a sticking point.
I don't
Yeah,
think it's a
do it.
sticking point either. We just never got it. So,
A part of a motion to go for that in negotiations then, or?
At a minimum, you need Ehlers and Cooney to start knocking on this guy's door and going, here's all the things that we want. So your option is either A, send Ehlers and Cooney on this guy to start getting some stuff done, or B, you send me, them, whatever, to sue him. And I don't think you're contemplating a default under the agreement, because that doesn't get your project done, right?
So I would ask for a motion to engage Ehlers and Cooney to write an amendment to the development agreement.
Should they have been responsible for getting that the first time around? I want to ask that question. They wrote it. Just throw that out there. Be a question I would ask them.
So what about the deadline then? Looking at a year from now, or are you thinking more like December 1st? Or December
Or do we take
31st?
this in steps and get that bond and?
That done first?
Well, he's not gonna do a performance bond if we don't do a development agreement, right? Because that's gonna cost him money.
Right.
He's already in
That's going to
default.
have to be a
Right.
condition of the development agreement that
Yeah.
it'll come in before
We're
we sign the
basically, we're
development.
basically starting all over again, period. Except we will dot our Ts and cross our Is this time. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, he
So
would,
you think you can get December 31st, get December 31st.
okay.
Get the performance bond in as it's written, and those other couple things you were talking about, and that's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote?
Rolfson?
Yep.
Bell?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Shares?
Yes.
Bishop?
Yes.
When you can't or will not, are not able to, what are we gonna do?
When he can't,
Yeah, when he says no, 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 no. I can't, I won't.
He's in default.
and he's in default, contemplate suing him.
So that's our plan then, it would be to sue him for non-compliance of the contract,
Number
something
of,
like that.
number of breaches in development agreement.
Or we just take back the development agreement.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we have to, there's a procedure, we have to give him notice, and he has 30 days or
You're
something to
gonna
apply.
need to know exactly what that is, if there's some pushback or whatever, that you gotta stand up there and say, boom, boom, and boom.
Right, we have to give him time to cure whatever and then the development agreement goes away, he doesn't get a TIF rebate.
Right.
And then I assume he's done with the project.
Right, so that's your ace and that's your,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the city's,
okay,
and
all right,
city's running the show on this.
good luck.
Right.
Glad you get paid the big bucks to do this. Take Mike with you.
And the other guy was sitting there.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. We're adjourned at 7:48 PM. Thanks.
See ya.